So, anyways, I wanted to go ahead and talk to you guys today. I'm going to give you a little introduction of who I am. And let me put my thing up here. I've done this a couple times and it turns out really well. If you have any questions, it's more of a roundtable discussion with everything. Let me turn this off real quick. Stop sharing this one. There we go. Okay. And put this up. So, basically, I'm going to give you a couple housekeeping rules. If you have any questions, feel free to put it in the question area of the. Basically, that's going to be our chat box. I would like to be as interactive as we can, and I have a polling question that we're going to do here in just a little bit. The goal today is to determine whether your business is financially healthy enough to make good decisions, so you can grow and stop overpaying the IRS. A little bit about me. I've been in the accounting and tax field since 1997. I have a bachelor's and master's in accounting. I'm an enrolled agent. I'm also designated as an NTPI fellow, which is National Tax Practitioners Institute. So I can represent taxpayers in front of the IRS. I have a special designation with that. I'm licensed in all 50 states. And this year I'll be getting certified in tax planning from the American Institute of Certified Tax Planners. Last year, I was 2025 CFO of the Year honoree with the Tampa Bay Business Journal, and I've been in practice since about 2010. And I've partnered up with a company in Clearwater to give an even better services that we have with a staff of over 30. So just the other day, I was talking to someone, and right now AI is huge. You can't go anywhere without hearing about AI, and it's going to be incorporated a lot into the accounting area and tax. So, what we've done to differentiate ourselves from everything is take away, everybody does accounting and tax, but what most firms do not do is the advisory side to help you grow, to help you scale. And that's what this is exactly what we're here today to make sure you pay less in taxes, make better decisions, spend time with your family. Believe it or not, we're here to help you with that. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to launch basically a poll. We're going to do, it's going to go over a couple different things. It's a business health checkup. That's what you're here today to determine how healthy your business is or is not. So I'm going to give you a business health checkup link at the end of this webinar. But for right now, let's quickly figure out in the next couple minutes where you guys fall into the business health checkup. So I'm going to launch this poll for you. And let's see where we're at. So basically, which areas of your business finance do you worry the most in your business? Is it not being accurate? Worry about cash flow? Could you survive an IRS audit? If you got that letter into today, could you survive an IRS audit and have those receipts? Are you sticking and creating? Most businesses I know don't even create a budget, let alone stick to it. Are you paying too much in taxes? Do you not have internal controls? Internal controls is where you make sure that you're free from fraud and embezzlement. So you have a couple people making sure that they're making those decisions. You don't have, do you have key business KPIs is what they're called, key performance indicators in your business to measure the health of your business? Are the meetings being productive or non-existent? A lot of times people don't even have meetings to go over financial side and having enough cash in the bank or succession planning. So I'll give a couple of seconds more. We've got a couple people right now. It's looking more like worrying about cash flow, creating a budget, KPIs, and some cash reserves. So I'm going to go ahead if that's good enough. I know there's a lot to kind of talk about. But that's why we're here today, to make sure that you level up in your company, that you're making the best decisions you can, because I'm sure you're great at what you do. But a lot of times what happens is people are so good at what they do, but they neglect the financial side of it, and it can put them out of business, or the IRS comes knocking. Okay, so I am going to end this poll and I'm going to share the results. So basically, What we have here is we have people worry about cash flow, creating and sticking to a budget, the health KPI indicators and how to measure if you're doing well in the company, and having cash reserves. So it looks like cash reserves is a big thing, contingency planning to make sure you're in business. Did you know that only most businesses are 1 month away from closing their doors? And a lot of companies don't have a succession plan. They don't have, they don't know their valuation. They don't know how much they can evaluate their business if they were to sell, or do they want to stay. Okay. So now let's go on. We're going to start talking about financial record keeping, because garbage in is garbage out. And in the chat, can you please put basically what accounting software do you use? Is it QuickBooks? Is it FreshBooks? Is it Zoho? Or is it Excel? Or maybe just looking at your bank? I've had a lot of companies that they just see what's in their bank to see if they're healthy or not. And that's not the great way. I was reviewing this one company, it was an electrical company this week. And what I found was the previous accountant was using AI. There was an AI app that they put on, and it duplicated a lot of their transactions. And he was doing it for 6 months, not reviewing it. And so all their numbers were overstated. And what I call artificial intelligence is a lot of times artificial ignorance. So, what we're going to discuss today is making sure that your financial statements are not wrong, what to kind of quickly look at if you want to look at your financial statements, where tax returns are going wrong, where the decisions are going wrong, and then cash flow and budgeting. So basically, how I kind of put it, revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, and cash is the reality. What's in the bank is the reality, and what you have at cash flow is, I think somebody put in there that a couple of people put cash flow was an issue. I know for contractors, a lot of times if it looks like you're very profitable, but you don't have the expenses down to know for sure. Plus, you have cost overruns, and you think a job might be profitable. If you're not doing job costing, you don't know actually how much that job is making money and what the profit margins really are for that job. So we've then got taxes and compliance. There is tax filing, which that's the historical data. And then you got tax planning, which is what we focus on. We focus on the strategy of everything. Is, do you need a depreciation strategy? Do you need cost segregation strategy? Do you need more of a retirement strategy, or giving incentives to your employees, which the business can write off? Do you need, are you an S corp or owner, and you need, but you use your business, your personal car for going out and doing mileage, or your business use a home? There's a certain way to do it as a S corp owner that we show our clients. And then it basically depends on how you want to set up your structure. There's all kinds of different ways to determine if you're in the right structure, and that could save on taxes. I know this one lady I spoke with, she was using everything in her social security number, and she was a retailer. And what happens then is you can't even become an S corporation if you wanted to down the road. You have to set up a whole new entity, whole new EIN. So depending on where you're at, you could be an LLC. If you're an LLC, you could be taxed as a C corp or an S corp. And there's times where it's better to be taxed as a C corp. Everybody hears C corp, it's double taxation. However, that might be more beneficial to you depending on what revenues are coming in and depending on what tax bracket you're in. And this is what we teach all of our clients. We do all the back and heavy lifting for them so that they don't have to worry about, they can just worry about what they want to do. So when is the last time your accountant called you up before the year end to discuss tax planning? Usually a lot of times I hear clients say that all they hear from their CPA or their tax planner, or excuse me, or accountant, is during tax season, not during the other times of the year. Or and if you're at the very least should be hearing from them around estimated tax payment time, because you need to know whether you need to make an estimated tax payment, and you can do it based on what happened during that quarter. So you can get a more accurate idea of what the taxes would be. And then you've got the financial controls and risks. So basically, do you have enough systems in place so that you can make sure you're not getting embezzlement? I just found a CFO who actually was a friend that was embezzling from a company, and that was their friend. It's not a pretty good friend, in my opinion. They actually paid their taxes out of the business. And they had signing authority. There was no internal controls. They just automatically gave trust over, and that is wrong too. You need to have a lot of systems in place to make sure that your hard-earned money is not being taken from you, especially in small businesses. Small businesses are the ones that get hit the hardest, not the larger ones. Yeah, the larger ones get the dollar amounts. However, the smaller businesses don't have, a lot of times they have the bookkeeper signing the checks, creating the accounts payable, collecting the money, depositing the money, and they have signing authority over everything. So that leaves you open as a business owner to fraud and embezzlement. And a lot of times you won't catch it for about 18 months, which could close your doors. And so it's very important that you go over these numbers, and I'm going to show you what reports that you need to pull to make sure that you're protected and that you know what's going on in your business, and not just leaving it up to people to know this. We sit down with our clients on a weekly basis to figure out their cash flow management, to tell them this is what is coming up. This is what you need to set aside money for next week. This is what came in this week. We found that it's better on a weekly basis than it is on a monthly basis to determine how to help you scale and get to the next level, and take control of that spending that you have in your business, and look at your apps that you have in your business. A lot of times as business owners, we get so busy that we don't realize there's so many apps that we've bought that we don't even use anymore, but yet you're paying for it. So looking at your items at least on a monthly basis will help you determine where you can cut the costs. And then we have advisory and planning. We want to make sure that typically bookkeeping is a historical data, where you can't really do a lot of information when it comes to making good decisions if you're looking at last year's numbers. So last year's numbers aren't going to do a lot of good for you if you are trying to make decisions today, 6 months into this year. So having someone that is your guided leader to tell you, okay, this is what happened, this is what's going to be happening, and you need to set aside money, and you need to make sure that your estimated taxes are paid. And this is how we're going to reduce your estimated taxes. We'll go ahead and give you what you need to determine how to better scale your business. And I am going to give you guys in the chat room, or excuse me, let me see. I'm going to have to put it up here. Let me go into my slide real quick, and we are going to, let's see, where is it? Okay, let's go here. This is what I have a course on. We teach this, share. Okay, this is what you would be. There's a couple different ways you can work with us, whether it's making determine that you have accurate books, cash flow management, document receipt retention, budgets, forecasting, tax strategy, internal controls, KPIs, metrics, financial meetings, what to go over in those financial meetings, and what cash reserves and contingency amounts that you need to make sure that you're good, as well as succession and valuation for your business. I have a book called the CFO's Edge to the CFO's Role, how the chief everything officers master the money side of their business. And I created a course that you can create your own playbook on all of this, so that way your business is protected and you know what's going on. And also, this is what we do as the businesses that I work with. Um, and so I wanted to kind of go over real quick with you. Let me get in here. I am going to discuss the actual reports that you need to pull for your business. Let's do this. Let's go back. Here we go. Okay. So if you don't know, what you need to do is you need to pull your general ledger. Your general ledger is the profit and loss and the balance sheet transactions that create the profit and loss and balance sheet. So the general ledger is basically your foundation. If you go through your general ledger and if you sit down with your CPA, sit down with your accountant, go through line item what each of these expenses create, whether, it'll give you all the itemized details of what office expenses are, what the fuel is. We were looking at this other construction company the other day, and apparently the accountant or the bookkeeper that they had on staff was coding 7-Eleven to office expenses. It was actually their financial CPA. They found out uh, everything was outsourced to another country. And so they didn't know what 7-Eleven was. So they just put it to office expenses, and the accountant didn't actually look over it. So if you look at your general ledger, you will know if it's coded incorrectly. And based on that coding determines what your profit and loss will look like, what your balance sheet will look like. And are you reconciling every single month? Is your accountant reconciling your books? Basically, accounting is just a matching game. And the reconciliation will determine if all your numbers are in there, because it just matches what's in the bank accounts and what's in your credit card accounts to what's in your profit and loss and your balance sheet. So reconciling is a double check that everything in your bank accounts are in the books. And then the statement of cash flow is basically your profit and loss and your balance sheet, because I can't tell you how many clients would tell me they don't understand where their profit is because it's not in the bank. And what happens is the balance sheet, if you combine the profit and loss and balance sheet, you have the profit and loss with all your expenses. The balance sheet actually has all your loans, or if you're taking money out as a distribution, that's where if you combine them, you will get your statement of cash flows. The cash flows is what is king, and whether you can survive the next couple months, especially with clients that are AC companies or contractors or anything like that. So in the chat, the question and answer area, if you have any specific questions, or if you want me to talk about any specific type of thing that, or you have a specific question on accounting or a specific question on cash, or on cash flow or on taxes, please just let me know at any time. I will tell you, I think the there's some things that happened with the new tax laws and everything else that just came out. Did you know that the office supplies that typically you bring for, food in the break room are actually disallowed? Travel meals are no longer allowed. And I'm not sure how much they're going to audit, but there's been some changes to that. Entertainment is no longer allowed. That stopped in 2018. So there's a lot of things that have changed. So we have to figure out what we can do and how we can do things to best make sure you're taking expenses. Documentation is huge. So you can take meals at 100% when it comes to certain things catered. So if you have a employee appreciation day, or if you have a client appreciation day, you can take those, but it has to be documented. And you can take those types of meals and everything else, but those can be taken at 100%. You still get business meals. And what the business meals, what the IRS wants to see, they want to see who you've had lunch or dinner with. They want to see what was discussed. It doesn't have to be during your business lunch or dinner. It can be before, during, or after, but they want to see that. So quick tip for you is to write on the top of that receipt who you talked with and what was discussed. Because if they audit you 3 years from now, I've had an IRS auditor say they want to even see what you ate because they want to make sure you're not taking your kids out, because that's not business. So depending on what kind of auditor you get, they could be really hard. And if you don't have these, we can create some of these mileage logs and receipts and everything else. However, having it now, knowing what you need now, will save you tons of work down the time and tons of money paying our firm to get it up to speed where you need to be. And then let's go through here. I'm going to tell you about my system that we have with being basically, let's see. I have a system called the Business Money Mastery. It's a course, and let me put this up here. And the business I spent all this time to create video lessons that are very easy for any individual that has a business. Any personalized CFO, you personalize your own playbook based on your business. And that basically creates your procedures for your business and how you want your business to run. Because if you can duplicate yourself, you can make a lot more money. And then we have weekly live Q&A calls with me that I get on. If you have any questions about the worksheets and the templates and how to create your own little playbook when it comes to, go back up here. So this is all the 10 pillars that we go over in that. And basically you'll have your own part of a private business owner community, as well as email and support and implementation and guidance. And you get lifetime access to the materials. I do have a money back guarantee as well. And you get access to everything that I have in my book, as well as all the templates and the worksheets. And you will be able to create your own business money mastery playbook by the end of that. So I have another also, if you are wanting to work with us and take control of your numbers, we will sit down with you, determine what you need. And I will do a free 30-minute strategy call. There's the QR code on the right. You will have access to my calendar, and you can kind of get there to be able to determine what you need. What I find is most business owners are great at what they do, but what they don't have is the guidance, the necessary to know, okay, this is what you need to be spending each month, each week, preferably. And we send that guidance to you. We show you with an Excel spreadsheet, okay, this is what you have coming in. Here's all the expenses, your accounts payable, your loans going out, your credit cards that you have to pay, anything like that, your subscriptions. We'll have that all down for you. So if you want that off your plate, you don't want to do it yourself, we have that support for you, as well as the tax strategy. That's what I specialize in, and you can work with my team and to make sure that you're paying the least amount in taxes. And if anything, I will love just to talk with you and see how I could help you and give you any questions. We handle IRS representation. You get those nasty grams from the IRS, and I know how to take care of them, as well as my team. And we'll make sure that the IRS stays off your back. So right there, if you have, I would love to stay around and answer questions. This is the question and answer part of the webinar, the roundtable. If you guys have, let's see, what can I give you? If you look at your balance sheet, I'll give you some tips on your balance sheet. Look at your balance sheet and see what negatives are in your balance sheet. If there's a negative besides depreciation or amortization, or within your equity section. If there's any negatives in credit cards, any negatives in assets, or even or in capital or anything like that, then your profit and loss will probably be wrong. Your books are wrong. Um, and that's a huge red flag when it comes to doing taxes. I look at your balance sheet, I look at your general ledger, and then I look at your profit and loss last. Because if your balance sheet is wrong, and your general ledger isn't correct, then I know that your profit and loss is wrong. And your profit and loss is what we go off as tax preparers. We go off your profit and loss, and that's what determines what you will pay in taxes. Whether you're an S corp owner, whether you're a C corp or an LLC. And so a lot of people also think they don't have to claim expenses if they don't want to. However, the IRS actually says you do. So if you got audited and they found more expenses, they could actually, you would think that showing less in profit, the IRS wouldn't want that. However, you're required to show all your expenses in your profit and loss. And a lot of people don't know that. If you need any help with any, I'm going to put this up one more time. If you want help when it comes to do this. When it comes, if you've got an IRS nasty grab in the mail, take a 30-minute tax strategy call with me. I'll look over your IRS notice or your state notice, whether it's sales tax or personal property tax notices, anything like that. I will help you navigate the IRS and navigate the state. I will say that state is always usually worse than the IRS. However, if you have someone in your corner that can represent you, you can take that burden off. And I know the system inside and out. And so I would love to talk with you about that. If you would like help with any with your cash flow, figuring out how ways to increase your profits or reduce your expenses, then we also help with that. We have a team of over 30 employees in our staff, and you'll get a client manager as well as a accountant and then a bookkeeper, as well as a tax strategist and preparer for you. So you have a whole team, not just one bookkeeper, not just one accountant or CPA or anything like that. You have a whole team. You have about 4 team members that work on your stuff to make sure that you're profitable, to make sure that you are hitting your goals and that you get where you need to be. And if you don't need my support and you want to do it on your own, you always have the choice of the Business Money Mastery course as well, with lifetime access and a money back guarantee. So what do you don't really have anything to lose, but I have enjoyed talking with you guys. I hope you got something out of this. I hope you look at your numbers and you have a little bit more clarity, that you have taken back maybe some tax strategy. This is just a little bit of what we do. And I wanted to kind of let everybody know that we are here for you. You don't have to fight the IRS on your own, or you don't have to worry about taking things and doing it by yourself as the chief everything officer. So I appreciate your time today, and I hope you have the rest of your week goes well, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.